And this dam is a project that was the first time in the history of the city of Champlin that any bonding money has ever come.
State Senator John Hoffman,
The career I wanted.
author-comedian Lorna Landvik, snarky radio guy Mike Gelfand, a post-digital TED Talk guru, and a southern Minnesota vineyard in September when they pick the grapes. This is Democratic Visions. Here's producer Jeff Strate.
Welcome to Democratic Visions. Senator John Hoffman and Tim O'Brien had a great discussion in this studio in December 2014.
If you look at a child who is free,
They talked about issues that are important to the residents of Senate District 36, which includes parts of Brooklyn Park, Coon Rapids, and all of Champlin, where John and his family live. We were impressed by Hoffman's stands for education, healthcare, jobs, and the environment. John Hoffman is running for re-election to the Minnesota Senate this year.
it's, you know what, everybody needs to get out and involved with the caucus.
Now, Democratic Visions wanted to learn what Senator Hoffman has been hearing this election season. So, after an early morning drive on Highways 494 and 169 and an honest cup of joe, courtesy of John and his wife Yvette, the senator shared his thoughts.
You know, this time around, we're still having to focus on equitable educational initiatives. And remember, I served 8 years on the Anoka School Board and served as its vice chair. And what we talked about was, why isn't the funding equitable here in our area? And that's what I was able to do. As the co-author of All Day Everyday Kindergarten, we were able to now leverage to get every child the ability to go to kindergarten and start their day off right. We have seen an increase in free and reduced lunches. And what that shows, it indicates an increase in poverty in our school district. And because of that, what I've done is get a pilot project called Compensatory Education, which focuses that money to that specific population and demographics. And what I've seen in the Anoka and the Osseo school districts is we've actually closed the achievement gap. What we need to do is make that a statewide initiative. That was a plan I had 2 years ago. That's a plan I want to bring back in January because I know the data's there and it does work.
Lawmakers like Senator Hoffman listen to and are informed by constituents, by their neighbors.
You know, one of my first phone calls ever and always is to our superintendent of schools here in Anoka School District, as well as the superintendent of schools in the Osseo School District. But more importantly is I talk daily to teachers that are in the trenches every day teaching our students what's right and for their education. And if it wasn't for those folks, along with the parents who feel they can call me anytime to talk about what's going wrong for our schools, I wouldn't be able to come forward with the broad spectrum of initiatives that I have in education. So it's kind of a trifecta: superintendents, teachers, as well as our parents.
Why do you like Champlin? Why'd you move here?
Back in 2000, when we decided to move home, we picked Champlin because of A, great schools, B, a good community, and C, the location. You can get anywhere within the metropolitan area quickly. And that is why it's important to see 610 finish, and why I was important that I was able to say yes to get that money, so 610 to 94 is going to be complete. Businesses specifically said, thank you for finishing 610, and because of that, businesses have climbed. Matter of fact, there's been over 800 new business starts just in my Senate district alone in the last year. And as, of course, you know, Highway 10, which is one of the most traveled roads we have in the state of Minnesota, and I was really privileged and honored to be able to give the Armstrong Bridge a little boost. That was my bill, and of course that cleared up some of the traffic jamming. We now have 169, and the bridge going over the Mississippi River has been a priority and has now moved up to be started in 2018. If you give it a couple more years, that congestion will clear up.
The Coon Rapids Dam on the Mississippi River is the most famous dam in the northern suburbs. You can jog over it between Brooklyn Park and Coon Rapids, from one regional park over the river to another regional park. But John wanted me to see a smaller park and a smaller dam a bit upriver.
This area where you see the riprap right now was just all being eroded away because of the water. And our first special session 2 years ago, we were able to leverage $300,000 for the city to be able to put the riprap in and really kind of protect this area so that folks can enjoy it. This is called the Champlin Mill Pond Dam. Flows into the Mississippi River. And this dam is a project that was the first time in the history of the city of Champlin that any bonding money has ever come. The old Champlin Dam was regulating the water by 10 2x12s. Amazing. They had to manually go down there and shift it. That's how the water flow was regulated. And at one time it was used by a company that did grain, and so they used it as part of a mill pond, hence the name Mill Pond. Elm Creek does roll into this mill pond, and it used to be a huge fishery. And I was able to leverage an extra $2 million through the Legislative Citizens Commission on Minnesota Resources to help beautify this and turn it back into the fishery that it once was.
We were talking about, well, why aren't minorities becoming more involved? Why aren't our youth becoming more involved?
Now in January, at a forum on elections, voting, and running for office in Minnesota, I spotted Senator Hoffman in the audience.
And our tradition in Minnesota, across party lines, most of the time.
The message was that democracy works if we know how it works and who it serves. John Hoffman echoes that perspective.
Isn't that amazing? Top state in the country. It's because we've made the whole issue of access and accessibility important to voting rights in Minnesota. And what Secretary...
Now, Mike Gelfand, late of the KQ Morning Show with Tom Bernard, is a tangy slice of onion in the banal and silly of Twin Cities broadcasting. A while back on Democratic Visions, Gelfand splashed gourmet vinegar on distracted driving. Distracted driving. There are laws being made to keep people off their cell phones and from texting while they're driving.
Not enough, but yeah.
Not enough. I'm with Mike Gelfand. He's going to talk about it right now.
Well, the only point I want to make is what you see is insane out there. You know, you see in my neighborhood, I see people. Yesterday, I saw an old guy, and he's in one of these battering ram SUVs. He gets into his vehicle, starts up the motor, but first, before he can actually go anywhere, he's got to dial up, he's got to talk to someone. I'm sure it's very important.
Yeah.
Then he executes the U-turn. And it's insane. And the point I try to make to people, which they just don't, they really don't believe is, look, you lead a sedentary life, right? You don't live an exciting life. The most dangerous thing you'll ever do, 50 days of the year, is get into that car. So maybe you should just pay attention for a few minutes. And the thing I hear, like one of the crazy things I hear from some of my female friends is, oh, but you know, women are very good at multitasking. Yes. It's true in one sense. Almost every woman I've ever dated was able to humiliate me and demean me at the same time.
September is grape picking time in Minnesota, and I suspect you want to know what picking grapes is all about. Now, no reporter here, just the sights and sounds of a vineyard harvest near Vernon Center in Blue Earth County.
They're going, okay. Wow. So no, it was... This one is not quite as good. See the green berries? We'd pull those out of there and throw them on the ground. These are raisins, we'd pull those out. And this brown guy shouldn't be in there, so throw that away, and then the rest goes in the bucket. Here's an example of bird damage. See all that? Mm-hmm. All those have to be pulled out. And then we keep the rest. Solid. So you grab a bucket. Here are the forks. And then they're working on this row here. Okay. And we pick post to post. So go down until you get to where they're picking, and then just take the next post and start working your way this way. I wonder if these grapes are asleep if the birds get about these when they're all out in the open.
I think yesterday it closed under 15 again.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I do. Is that what you'd like?
You know what? I don't know. You can ask Carol.
Okay.
Is this the stuff you make?
You just take one of each.
Can I see ID? Some of the Marquette I made from the grapes last year.
You got these?
Lone Oak Vineyard usually wins a couple of ribbons each year at the Minnesota State Fair. This time around, they won a blue ribbon in the amateur division for white grape table wines.
Mind if I take over part of your roll? Go ahead.
I don't know. I just thought.
Need more?
Keep the twist out of it so it's not twisted.
So we got some other Marquette, that one, and the matches of the press over here. This is what a doctor would call prophylaxis. This will thaw, and the CO2 will fall down into the grapes and keep it from getting oxidized. Each scoop is maybe, a buck. Most of the aroma, flavor, and color compounds in the wine are in the skin of the grape. And so I like to do a cold soak to allow some time literally for the juice to contact the skins before I add the yeast and start the fermentation. You can see the stuff is beautifully ripe because the stems are starting to turn pink, red, and I mean that's perfect. That's perfect, and he has really nicely formed clusters for the most part. You can look at this other one.
Because it's a 4-level question, right?
We've all heard about the TED Talks. TED, T-E-D, stands for Technology, Entertainment, and Design. As of this month, over 1,600 TED Talks are on the internet via YouTube and other forums. And I'm delighted that with us tonight at this table, post-digital visionary TED. It sounds like you're running against the currents here.
Yeah, technically, in quotes, sure, right, against the currents, whatever, I mean, whatever you want to call it is what it is, because we just, bingo.
Now, have you ever been a TED speaker? Have you ever fashioned a 17, 18-minute long speech?
No, that's for those folks, man. I'm in another place. Wow.
Oh, what place is that?
It's this, like, you see, what they don't get, and almost nobody gets, right, is that when you do like a TED Talk, right, you set up your TED Talk, you got your talk, your people, they're talking, and here's the guy presenting, and right, it's so like, I don't know, 1993 August or something, we are so beyond that. I would say we were beyond that, but even saying that we're beyond that is like so right now, and we're over, totally over. And so whatever they say, the moment they say it, bingo, gone, right down the rabbit hole. Who cares?
But thousands of views every day.
Oh yeah.
Of these TED Talks, and you're saying it's over with.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, because this is like axiomatic, right? Okay, totally. Because the very fact that we're here with it, like, I'm bracketing like what we're saying about this.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay. Gone. Down the river of time, man. Over. So over. Done and dusted, as the Brits say, man.
It seems to me that at one time you really craved to be a TED talker, to be on that program.
I was...
And that you failed.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Play that. Play that. I mean, that's that's okay.
Did that happen to you?
That's your framework. Okay. Happened to me. Yeah. I mean, there's a narrative where we could say this happened to me, blah, 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 right? Yeah. But really what I am and what I'm doing is I'm trying to talk about all of those narratives were born in brackets, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're born in brackets.
What does that mean? I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, well, no, you don't, because we're at different levels here, and what we're trying to do is get to the same level. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. But
does that mean me climbing up to you, or you coming down to me, or what?
I don't spatialize it like that. I do not spatialize it.
Fine.
Okay.
Sure.
It's like whatever this, this motion is. That's what we're doing. Okay.
Okay.
And then gone.
Post-digital.
Mm-hmm.
Why post-digital?
Because like everyone's, mobile, social, social, mobile, social, mobile. Okay, it's so over.
But so you're against computers, against social media.
I'm not against them, man.
Okay.
No. They're a ghost. They're a ghost through which I passed, through which others are passing. But I don't make them into a thing. I don't have a thing about them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's just like more like this. Think about this.
No. This has strong echoes of the lost generation of the beat poets of the early 1950s in the Village. The sound of one hand clapping.
You're Zen and that whole
that
thing with the deal.
Yeah.
And
is that where you're going?
I have been there. Is the thing. We've all been there. I mean, it's a collective ship.
For you, what is the thing, though?
Oh, there is no the thing.
Okay.
I mean, reification itself would be the enemy if we had enemies, but enemies are so accepted time.
No, you're on a television show here. That means you must be motivated to proselytize a little bit about your stance.
My stance is like, I'm in the chair, man.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I know. We have to ask.
Figuratively?
Yeah. Both the figurative and the literal have like joined hands here.
Okay.
For the last, minute and a half, I'd say.
In the post-digital world, what is a search term?
Wow, I like that.
Yeah,
I like that question, right? And you know why I like that question?
Why?
Because it's a 4-level question, right? All the levels are kind of, oscillating together with that question, because what is a search term?
Yes.
Question mark. Yeah. Right? Okay.
How do you select? How do you select your own personal search terms?
My personal search terms are not personal, but they are search terms.
But they must come out of your your head or your heart or something?
They occupy a space which I call post-digital.
Okay,
right?
fine.
And there they are.
Okay.
And here I am. But my interaction with them, I couldn't call it appropriation anymore, because appropriation is so performance art, New York, 1977.
Sure. What's the most digital you're going to get? Do you ever get digital? I mean, you've got to use digits. I'm not talking about fingers.
Posable thumbs? Okay,
cool.
yeah,
Posable
no,
thumbs.
I jumped you there. Yeah,
very
right.
funny,
That's
very
cool.
funny, yeah.
Yeah, no. I've got like a smartphone to talk to my nephews, man.
You do?
Okay. Yeah, I'll cop to that.
Okay. Twitter and various bloggers say, hey, this is trending.
Oh,
now,
I love it. I love it. Trending.
Are you trending now?
Oh, trending. I'm trending.
Yeah, are you?
Yeah. At the level where things trend, I'm trending. But I mean, I've tiptoed up a little. I don't want to say higher.
Sure.
But trending.
Are you a guest speaker at colleges? Lead symposiums? And
I do the thing, the Aspen thing. I've been there.
Okay.
And I do the thing at the Chautauqua, whatever.
Up in New York State.
New York State,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 1,000 gibbering youth call me God, from time to time.
What event in Minnesota have you spoke to, and could you tell me how Minnesotans are reacting?
I've been down to New York Mills for that Think Off thing,
New York Mills, yeah.
Oh, it's very sweet. I mean, the locally churned butter is beautiful, and there's all this local food thing going on. It's very greeny.
Do you make any money at this?
There is money.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing about post-digitality, or digitality, really,
Yeah.
post-digitality,
Yeah, sure.
is exactly the same thing with the digital era. The money thing was kind of mysterious. It's like profit, making a profit, not making a profit. How are we doing? Initial public offering, no money in the thing.
You never did that, right?
Oh, I did that. I had a period of
did
that.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
and the mystery of that. I mean, the fact of that just kind of shot me through to the other side, because
Got it.
certain things no longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow. Bingo.
Wow and bingo.
Yes.
Bingo.
I love that in a bracket, though. It's in a bracket. Yeah.
Wow and bingo.
Wow and bingo.
Any advice for those of us who still live in a digital world, who have
Just love it. Do it. Do what you think you're doing. Let it be. Just don't mistake it for the edge, man. Because the edge is asymptotic, right? We talk about being on the edge.
What is
being
that
at
word?
the edge.
That's
Yeah. Can be approached.
Yeah.
Can never be reached.
Oh.
Can be approached. Can never be reached.
can never be reached.
Wow, it just misses every time. That's why I love it so much. This is where we are, Where we are is this. Gotcha.
Author, comedian Lorna Landvik is a Minnesota treasure of Minnesota insight and laughs. You grew up knowing you would be an author or hoping you would be an author, not so much a comedian or an actor, correct?
To be a writer was my very first goal, and that goal came to me in the first grade when I learned how to read.
The first grade?
And I learned how to read with the Dick and Jane books.
You sound like someone that can plan their lives out,
Well, I just thought, wow, I'm so captivated by
Okay.
seeing Spot jump, and I wanted to create that kind of magic. But I also have always liked to act, so I've had a kind of two-pronged career, and the writing means the most to me. If I had to choose one, I'd definitely choose the writing, but it's just fun to get out of the house and be in front of people after having been, with a book, and it's just you and the characters, and you hope they see the light of day sometime. But
Now you write at home, correct?
I do, although I used to write a lot at libraries.
Okay.
But now they've gotten too loud,
Oh, yeah, loud from what?
Nobody whispers and do.
I want to be frightened by librarians.
I know. You want to be shushed in a library.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I want the other people to be shushed
I
even
know.
more.
You know, I wrote when my daughters were growing up, so I'm very used to writing a middle out of chaos.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just kind of focus that out. But I tend now to write mostly at home, just because it's close to a coffee maker and, you know, the refrigerator.
Your first book, you wrote a lot of it in your neighborhood library?
I did, the Nokomis Library. And that was my childhood library, after the Longfellow Library was closed and relocated. I go there a lot to pick up books. I don't necessarily write there. The comforts of home are a little more conducive to writing.
Does your celebrity status affect your privacy?
I'm constantly barraged by requests and fans. No, I'm kidding.
No.
No, it's just, as I said, libraries are a little too noisy now. They were sanctuaries, but I think now libraries have to appeal to such a wide group of people to stay open.
They're media centers,
exactly,
aren't
and
they?
Community centers. Anytime I go to a city, I'll go to their libraries just to, poke around.
You have a favorite one in New York?
Well, I like the big one with the lions on Fifth Avenue.
Oh, sure, that's a good one.
But they shush. I found they shush people there more than.
I like that.
I know. I think because New York has so much noise, they know we value our quiet.
What primary school did you go to?
Morris Park.
Junior high school?
Nokomis Junior High.
High school?
Roosevelt.
What do you like most about the Twin Cities?
I think the Twin Cities are so physically beautiful, so artistically open, so full of those Scandinavians that I love, and yet such a diverse culture. When I went to school, boy, everybody looked like me. And then in high school, we started seeing kids who didn't look so much like us, and it was kind of thrilling. And then when my daughters went to school, I met Hmong kids, Somalians. We've got everything except an ocean and mountains. But who needs an ocean and mountains when you got so many lakes?
Where do you like to grocery shop?
I really like Cub Foods. But when I'm fancy, I go to Lund's.
You make a point of being Norwegian American.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't hear much from our group.
I'm very thrilled to be Norwegian. I look to Scandinavia as a model of how to treat people. I think Scandinavians, especially Norwegians, are hysterically funny. It's just that it takes a long, long time for them to warm up, and so they can feel free to.
Are you talking about Minnesota Scandinavians or Scandinavia?
I'm talking about the ones I grew up with.
In Minnesota?
Yeah.
Lorna Landvik's books are available at indie bookstores, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon.com. Visit Lorna's website for future appearances.
Well, that's all for now. Thanks for being with us.
Democratic Visions is handcrafted by volunteers from Eden Prairie, Hopkins, Minnetonka, Edina, and Bloomington. Watch us on select cable systems and on our YouTube channel. This is Carol Sundstrom.